Greetings everybody, it is I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I am back for yet again for the likes of the Merxy Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Party 7 for the Nintendo GameCube. So, I believe last weekend is the fact that in addition to able to showing you guys all of the rare minigames, mind you there's only 2 of them, but we also did manage to able to tackle through King of the River mode while going through hardcores, and despite I did manage to fail 2 minigames specifically, which ironically enough they are both dual minigames, which are Bridge Work and Royal Rumpus, but aside from that, I did manage to accomplish that mode just fine. So today, this will be the final video for Mario Party 7, and that's what appears to be some extras we can show off. So to begin with, let's head over to the control room for a second, even though there won't be that much in there though, because all it gets in here is just basically, it's like an options menu. So you get yourselves the forms of the mic settings, so like for instance, you can either turn it on or switch it off, or use the GameCube controller as your alternative way by able to actually use the microphone, but usually, relatively speaking, I always have the mic on. So, and as always, the GameCube controller rumble feature will be turned off or turned on, but the only reason why I stick it on though, because of Big Dripper minigame. So, and there's also the sound switching, so it's like stereo, mono, and surround sound if you really want to listen to some cool music and stuff like that, any forms of a different style, but I always tend to stick with stereo from now on. And finally, we have the mic test, where you can able to demonstrate of how your mic actually works in this game. So like for instance, hello, it's me, and stuff like that. You know, kind of like how I did in the forms of Mario Party 6 and before Mario Party DS roll around. So, next thing we'll show off is the forms of... I'm not going to show this entire mode completely, but I'm going to show this briefly, and that's what appears to be the solo cruise. I already mentioned about the forms about the fact that there are 6 boards you have to go to, but here's the thing, is the fact that there are multiple modes you can able to interact with. There is versus computer player and versus human player. However though, in order to able to compete against with someone, specifically in 2-player match, you have to create 2 profiles, and basically, like I said, you have to go through 6 boards, starting from Grand Canal all the way to the very end in Bowser's Enchanted Inferno. And basically though, that as you notice on that blue numbers, that actually represents how much turns you've spent on each board. I think the biggest highlight for me though, whenever I did this back in 2011, I did Bowser's Enchanted Inferno for 2 turns. The basic example of this is that I somehow managed to land on a DK space, and I get the actual reward, which is 20 or 30 coins. And I somehow get the next roll, which appears to be the highest roll, and then I somehow immediately go into Bowser himself to able to take on the final challenge against him, and basically I somehow did the Bowser's Lovely Lift within 1 turn. So yeah, that's actually pretty swell for my record as far as I'm usually concerned with that stuff. And also you can double check on the rankings mode, see how the fact that on the actual tally results, as you can see. And also we got ourselves a bit of a stunning background, as you can see on the background right there. Which, by the way, that does need to be purchased, by the way. That is usually on the duty-free shop mode. So, speaking of the duty-free shop mode, the main focus of this extra stuff though, and that is the duty-free shop itself. So if you're probably wondering that, usually I keep on collecting most of those cruise mileage points, as you probably already know from the past few videos ago in Mario Party 7. Basically, what you can use these cruise mileage points for is that you can able to spend on something in a cruise mileage shop. So for instance, as you can see, we actually have ourselves a few interesting items, like I already mentioned about this ever since the very beginning, that you do have Bodo and Dry Bones, which are both cost about 1000 points, and also there's the Brutal CPU difficulty setting, I think that's also 1000 points. And there's also the forms of King of the River, which I'm pretty sure it actually costs about 2000 points for King of the River, but also you need to unlock every single minigame first in order to able to actually access that mode. And there's also stunning backgrounds, like I've shown you all about it earlier. And there's also the forms of the staff records, which I'll show this off in just a second because, well, I don't know exactly how much points that these items cost though for some of them. I do know most of them anyway, like for instance characters cost about 1000 points each, so yeah, there's staff records and also 2 rare minigames which it does need to be purchased for about 3000 points like I said. So, and there's also a annoy mode where, unlike any forms of how it does it on Mario Party 6, they have to able to purchase the taunt feature for every character. They have to able to keep on grinding stars, and you have to pay 10 stars each. Whilst in here though, assuming if you get enough points, that way you can able to actually get access to annoy mode for not just for one character, but for everyone. So yeah, that's worth mentioning. And there's also some of these sound purchasable items, and also some of these secrets. Yeah, much like Mario Party 6, there are some secrets to be found around here if you decide to purchase them. So yeah, let's get to it with Cruise Mileage Secret 1. Do you know if you play minigames outside of the boards, you get 10 mileage points each time? Okay, I think we already know about that because I've already played this game loads of times already. So yeah, Cruise Mileage Secret 2. Did you know if you beat the CPU in the solo cruise, you get an extra 500 mileage points? So yeah, I think I sort of know that. Alright, Aquarium Secret. Okay. Did you know something fun will happen if you say Goomba while playing Be My Chum? So yeah, that's gonna be one of those mic secrets. Did you know you'll pay less at orb shops when you're behind? So it's like if you're in 4th place at the moment, some of these items are cost a bit cheaper. So I guess that pretty much explained about that. Do you know when on a party cruise team, you might get a star in coin earning events? So yeah, I think I did not notice that first, but I'm sure it's something. Souvenir secrets. So let's see how this actually brings us. Do you know when viewing souvenirs, say a colored words into the mic, surprise? Which we'll show this off for last anyway. And speaking of souvenirs though, here they are right now. So I believe you start the game, when you start the game off, I believe you're able to actually get access to 27 purchasable items, whilst in the forms of the other 3, as you can see, that you do need to unlock them for specific conditions. Like this one, MSSC Starship, basically you have to play every single main boards of the game once, and also the free sup, and also the Chop Chop Helicopter. I believe to get a free play sup, that you're gonna have to able to get play every single minigame modes once, and I believe for the Chop Chop Helicopter, I think you're gonna have to play the actual deluxe cruise for about a certain amount of times. I think it's roughly about 5 times, at least if I recall correctly. And of course, like in the forms of how it does it on any other Mario Party games, you can able to actually look up on specific types of minigames you're able to actually encounter for. Specifically, if you managed able to, depending on what minigame sets you want to go to, like all and also action, skill, weird, and easy kind of stuff. So either way though, but of course I've already managed able to access to every single minigames has to offer, so in this case though, but there was that one particular minigame that we actually haven't shown yet. But then again though, we'll point it out after we've shown quite a few bits and bobs in the forms of the duty-free shop mode. So yeah, that might be something to usually as far as I'm concerned with that stuff. So yeah, pretty standard stuff for the most part. So if you haven't played the forms of the past games already, then you probably know the idea. So now I suppose I should probably mention about this as well, that usually when it comes to souvenirs themselves, I think there are a grand total of 30 of those souvenirs that you can able to purchase them. And that way we'll try to show that off until at the very end of this particular video, like I said. But either way though, yeah, that was the minigame packs. And there's also the travel, actually before I show that off, much like the forms of the past games, you can still once again listen to some of these soundtracks in the game, including voice clips here and there as well. So yeah, and also you can also listen to some of the board game music and stuff like that, like Sail the Canals is based off from Grand Canal. There's also Inferno, which you do need to unlock by the way, along with the forms of Bowser's Enchanted Inferno board. So I thought it was worth mentioning for the sake of time. A Star is Born, huh. kind of a reference to the forms of the Hercules song or something like that. So, but anyway though, and also some of these, oh yeah, for magic music, that is actually, comes from how to play, the actual party mode, so I thought it's worth mentioning. So, and there's also Bowser's Invitation music, which it only triggers in solo cruise mode. I think this what usually happens after when you, finish Windmillville, if I recall correctly. So, yeah, that basically summarized as such. So, either way though, so yeah, that's pretty much as far as I can say about the forms of the sound test of this game. So it's basically, kind of like the past games, except, well, basically it has jam-packed with music here and there. Like, I think it actually has like 26 pages. Well, to be more specifically, for some music and also certain voice clips for the majority of the characters. Like, you know, Mario all the way up to any other various characters. So, you sure you are, Toad? Especially noticeable you are so cool back then. Although, I have no idea why people seem to really hate you so much, which I honestly don't understand. So, and you can also listen to some of those annoying voices for certain characters as well. So, yeah, you probably get the idea. Actually, let me head back for a second there and try to listen to Mario's.
Hey, Stinky!
Oh, I still love that. Especially noticeable how the fact that there's a lot of memes for that particular voice clip go like, hey Stinky, on certain Mario videos as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, that's basically about it. And as I said, there's some more voice clips here and there. And I think there's actually a minigame narrator somewhere. But the thing is, I have no idea where he is. Hold on. Let me just go ahead and... oh, there it is. I think I saw it.
Go!
Alright, so we have
Finish!
go. Finish.
Tie!
I like that Thai voice. I'm afraid this will be the last time we're going to be hearing that particular narrator voice because, well, it wasn't until in Mario Party 8 that the actual minigame announcer will sound a lot different. So, I thought it was worth classified for noticing this. And of course, like in the previous games though, whoa, I played Grand Canal 10 times so far on my memory card, along with the forms of Behind Begonia Peak and Windmillville, and the only board I haven't played that much though, it was obviously Pyramid Park. So, I guess that's fair enough. So anyway, yeah, like I said, much like in the previous games, you can able to showcase off how much boards, or how many times you played on certain boards. Although the thing is, this time around though, unlike Mario Party 1, all the way up to Mario Party 6, there's no character victory records this time around of how many times you played specific characters on certain boards this time, which is a little bit of a shame. But there was also the new records tally, and of course the records for Decathlon Castle, which as you can see, I somehow in first place. So let's have a look at the previous records that I've done in the past. Oh, this one is actually rough around the edges, especially on Cartwheeled minigame. Mind you, because I actually played this game back in 2007, so just right after purchasing Mario Party 8, according to what Sonic did actually told me. So, yeah, that's as far as it's kind of weird for that order with the future game all the way to the past installment or something. So, at least the second place is actually not too shabby either, except in Take Me On. But the best record out of them all though is recently in 2022, where I'm in first place for 7,904 points. I think this is easily the best Decathlon record that we've ever done in a Mario Party Let's Play before on one hand. And of course you can able to look on some staff records right here, which unlike the actual casual players, that we seemed able to be not exactly pure master at it though. I'm gonna say this right about now. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for Travel Diary, or Daily, whatever you want to call it. So anyways, let's move on to the next extra thing. So I'll meet you guys right back onto that minigame. Alright, here we are onto Be My Chump, and let's go ahead and say the word Goomba. Okay, nothing happened there. Sushi. Goomba. Goomba. What? Okay, this is odd. Cheep Cheep. Cheep Cheep. Lakitu. Sushi. Sushi. And Sushi. Okay, what the hell was that? basically, that particular mic secret is pretty pointless. Because if you say Goomba, all they do is basically they just jumping up and down inside the actual the thing itself. So that seems very pointless. So anyways, let's move on to the next extra thing, and that's what appears to be this final minigame onto the Bowser category. That is Bowser's Lovely Lift. And to unlock this minigame, you have to complete Solo Cruise for the first time, along with the forms of Bowser's Enchanted Inferno. So do whatever it takes to move the elevator to the 100th floor, but watch for Bowser's attacks. So basically, yeah. What do these 4 dice blocks do? Well, we'll find out as soon as we dive right in, but I'm sure you might as well already know about that on that particular footage from earlier ago. So yeah, here's the forms of Bowser's Lovely Lift, in this case the final boss minigame. So it's been a really long while also, ever since in Mario Party 5, that we haven't exactly touched upon a final Bowser minigame for quite some time. So basically in this minigame, all you have to do is basically you have to make your way to the very top of the actual tower itself, or in this case the elevator and stuff like that. And in order to progress upwards though, is the fact that we need to hit dice blocks. And basically the highest chance you can get up to is of course that I highly recommend you aim for 10 for each and every single dice blocks. So as you can see on the actual the flooring of that particular minigame itself, if you eventually get into 50, that something will happen if you decide to able to actually go up to 50 and higher. Which, for the most part, this first point on or this first section on this minigame is pretty easy, but the hardest part about this minigame for me, though, is those missiles, which I'll point it out whenever we're able to, if we failed this minigame multiple times. Thankfully, it doesn't go nearly as long as the final battle in Mario Party 4 and Frightmare from Mario Party 5, and oh jeez Louise, dang it. So yeah, that's what happens right there. If you get hit once, then you lose instantly. So yeah, unlike in the although it's kind of like Stardust Battle from the likes of Mario Party 3, if you get hit once, then obviously you lose instantly. Although, unlike in Mario Party 4, for, you know, the final battle and Frightmare from Mario Party 5, basically you do have the heart system, so that way you can still get multiple chances left. I will say, out of all the actual final boss battle minigames in terms of Mario Party games, this is by far the hardest one out of the bunch, at least in my opinion. Because, well, it's nothing bad on the beginning portion, but until later on, when you get to the halfway point, it gets outright ridiculous, especially noticeable when the difficulty gets ramped up a lot. Especially noticeable about the hardest part about this particular minigame to me though, is these homing missiles, which as you can tell, that I've almost gonna get myself screwed over by the forms of not only getting hit by the forms of this homing missiles, but also, get this, is the fact that if you dare touch the explosion, it also counts as a failed. So, yeah, it does kind of reminds me of the forms of the final boss in Mega Man 7, which appears to be when you try to take down Wily Capsule 7. That's, well, sure enough, the first phase is pretty easy, but until when you get to the final fight, it gets really hard. Especially noticeable about the fact that, well, for the longest time, at first I thought it was actually pretty easy and simple and straightforward, but honestly I think this is without doubt the hardest final boss minigame I've ever had to face. Specifically in an entire Mario Party game. It's actually way harder than the forms of how it does it on, well, let's just say Stardust Battle and the final battle and Frightmare. So either way though, it's just outrageously difficult and hard. Dang it, the explosion caught me, and I was really dang close towards the end too. Alright, I'll cut to my successful attempt. Oh, good lord. Do you know how many attempts I have to do on this minigame? I think this is attempt number 11. Good grief, this minigame is so tough. Like, literally the hardest of the entirety of the Mario Party final boss minigames. But I will say also is the fact that just try not to rush this minigame, because otherwise if you dare rush, basically though you will get screwed. Although if you try to play this on solo cruise mode, basically if you somehow lose this minigame, you get kicked out of the minigame, with no practices whatsoever. So, relatively speaking, Bowser will be able to take your star from you, and then basically though, although the good news about the Forms of the Solo Cruise version of this minigame though, is the fact that if you try to able to have a rematch against with Bowser again, basically you do have a continuing progression, so at least that's that. So at least at the very least in the Solo Cruise mode actually has checkpoints, so at the very least yeah, there's actually a chance you can do that. So yeah, that's as far as I can honestly try to explain about the forms of well, Bowser's Lovely Lift. It is, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it's all about timing, and also not to mention though, it is really tricky and difficult, which, yeah, let me know in the comments below if you have many problems with this minigame sometimes when it comes to its nerve-wracking difficulty sometimes. But thankfully though, I've managed to able to accomplish it, so if you made it to the 100th floor, then obviously Bowser will be done for good. Along with Mini Bowser, of course. So many stars keeps on hitting Bowser right here. And also that another star just somehow hits Mini Bowser as well, which is pretty cool, honestly. So yeah, that was it for the likes of Bowser's Lovely Lift. Again, good luck on that minigame though, because let me tell you, you're about to get wrecked in any moment's notice. Especially, like, you know, if you're about to be trying to do, you know, the actual Solo Cruise mode, then best of luck. So yeah, just saying for this point right about now. Okay, sorry for this quick edit right there, because I need to change the actual mic settings into my controller usage as of mic. So, meaning about the fact that if you use the GameCube controller while you're able to try to interact with the mic, then basically you have to press the R button, and that's all you have to say about this for this point right here. So that's why I've decided able to go for this setup, so that way I don't have to able to read quite awkwardly loud when it comes to like saying surprises every single time. So yeah, basically, for those souvenirs right there, as I said, there are 30 of them, so in this case we'll show everything off. So in this case, first off we have is the Cheep right here. So you can also use the C-stick to able to actually move around the figure and stuff like that. And then if you're trying to able to say, let's just say, surprise onto your microphone, or pressing the R button if you manage to use the controller, then something triggered will happen if you manage to able to say surprise. And that way, something magical will happen for those figurines. Like, for example, that the Cheep just managed able to squirt some water, and also there might be some food here and there. Like, for example, right here, they managed able to have Shy Guy cookies and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Especially noticeable about the fact that, well, I believe for every single souvenir items, sometimes they managed able to have 3 different kinds of items based off from, actually technically 6, if you really want to count though. Actually, no way, gonna think about it, it was actually like 4 of those figurines based off from the specific souvenirs and stuff like that. Like, for example, I think you get like 3 regular souvenirs based off of what boards you go into, like Grand Canal, Begonia Peak, Pyramid Park, Neon Heights, Windmillville, and Bowser's Enchanted Inferno. So basically though, is the fact that you can able to actually just to see what really happens on some visual changes here and there. So yeah, that does seems like kind of cool, even though it might actually reuse that specific thing itself until Mario Party 8 roll around, except the fact that we have to use the Wii Remote in order to able to interact with certain things. So yeah, that might be something worth noting for the sake of how the actual things itself usually interacts with certain things. So, but again, that's some of these souvenirs managed able to cost about 500 points each, and I'm pretty sure the next 3, specifically those vehicle-based ones, they're about likely 1,000 points each, if I recall correctly. Well, mind you, because I haven't exactly been onto this game quite a few times compared to the forms of how it does it on, well, ever since recently for the likes of Mario Party Superstars and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically how this goes, basically. So even then though, it's kind of cool to be able to actually have not only for those main objects that you might actually recognize for main boards, but also trying out some food, like chocolate, as well as the forms of some dumplings and also cookies, and I think they've managed to say something like cheese, if I was assuming correctly, and I think there's going to be one of them involves around an odd food to have, which I don't know about you, but I'm actually very curious to see of what certain foods they might obviously contains itself. So yeah, and in fact, kind of think about it, for those souvenirs combined, it does kind of feels a bit slightly similar to the likes of the missing pages from the likes of the Miracle Book from Mario Party 6, except the fact that you have to constantly say surprise every time whenever you see something really happens if you say surprise. So yeah, you probably get the idea about the fact that we're gonna be able to keep on like either saying surprise or pressing the I button on the controller, so that way we can able to actually trigger something like the actual pretty cool Bowser Target Cannon souvenir, which is pretty cool. And let's see what's in here. Oh god, some eggs. Or to be more specifically, Bowser eggs. Never seen like that before. And of course we do have some NPCs, like for instance 2 of the Shy Guys. Well, one of them involves around in Grand Canal, and also applies to 2 Koopa Troopers. So and alongside with those figurines, there's also the 3 special treasures, which 3 of those treasures can only be accessed if you manage to able to complete King of the River respectively, which are easy, normal, and hard mode. So yeah, we'll show those off in a moment, because, well, for instance, that we see Goomba just somehow celebrated and stuff like that, and there's this cool outfit for Shy Guy. And that's all he does. So let's check out Koopa Troopa in Windmillville. And that's how he does. And let's check out Goomba based off from Bowser's Enchanted Inferno. And he just jumps and just opens his mouth, and that's it. So now let's check out the 3 vehicles. So first off we have is MSSC Star. So if we press the I button, then it basically triggers that the actual MSSC Star just rocking back and forth, you know, just like in any other cruise ships or even boats for that matter. So yeah, that's that. And there's also free play subs, so if we say either surprise or press the I button, basically it just gets the Yukiki pop out of it. And next of all is Chop Chop Helicopter, and basically it just flies and descend rather. So now we get onto these 3 last souvenirs, and like I said, these will only be accessed if you completed King of the River from those 3 difficulties. So the treasure chest one is be accessed for easy mode, the magic lamp is for normal, and the power star statue, as you already know from the likes of the King of the River run through, basically you get yourselves the power star statue. So yeah, there's the treasure right there, filled to the brim with gems. And let's check out this very peculiar magic lamp. And basically not only does it send regular stars, but also if you press the I button again, it will actually trigger something else. So in this case we have Z stars. Oh, that's actually kind of evil, but regardless of such, that's how that goes. No longer summons Mushroom Genie, sadly, but anyway. Let's check out this last souvenir. Now, of all the actual souvenirs in the game, this one has the most special potential of when this thing triggers. So yeah, it's a very recognizable power star, and if you say something like surprise or the I button, this will happen. It's the game credits. That's how you unlock the actual staff credits in Mario Party 7. That is probably perhaps the most ridiculous way of getting this staff credit sequence in this entire game. So yeah, but as I said, in order to able to get that though, you have to complete King of the River mode on hard mode, so I just want to classify that. So I think with this staff credit sequence, it's actually pretty cool, especially noticeable about the fact that, as you saw, Mario was actually walking, and then basically he traverses through different environments based off on what boards they have. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And the music comes from is the forms of Many Thanks music. So if you want to know what that music's coming from, so yeah. And that's pretty much about it for the sake of the forms of some extras in terms of Mario Party 7. I know it seems definitely haven't gone that much to show off, although I would like to show off some of these 8-player features and stuff like that, most notably in the Party Cruise mode, but unfortunately though, I'm running out of time for doing so. So yeah, let's get to my final thoughts of Mario Party 7. This is the last Mario Party game to be released on the Nintendo GameCube. Like I said this so many times already. I will say, from the actual perspective of this game, I do think this is actually a really good game indeed. Although it's definitely not the best installment, I will say that this is by far my 5th favorite Mario Party game. Because for the short factor about this is the fact that I do still enjoy the orb system from the likes of Mario Party 6, and also the amount of boards they have, with one exception. I found the board selections in this game is so unique, and especially noticeable it changed things up for its objectives wise, which I found is pretty interesting. And also the minigames are pretty cool in their way, however there might be some other minigames that are considered to be kind of a downfall, like for instance some of the worst team up minigames like Battery Ram or Sphere Factor, but the majority of the minigames are still fun. And also the graphics was basically identical to Mario Party 4, 5, and 6, but I digress. And also the controls are still perfection even to this day. And finally, the gameplay is pretty much recognizable from any other Mario Party games, time and time again. So yeah, this is a great game, all things considered, and especially noticeable about the fact that we will miss the GameCube every now and then. So, but at least we're moving on to, oh look, Bowser and Mini Bowser are just blasting off again! And it got the twinkle thing right here. So I think you only see that on the PAL version of this credit sequence. I don't think you will see it on the American version or the Japanese version of this credit sequence for some reason. But I digress. So yeah, that was it for the likes of Mario Party 7, and I hope you guys do enjoy this Let's Play, because I surely do. Especially noticeable about the fact that, although I suppose I can give my only major gripe I have with the game is the fact that the board playthroughs can drag on at points, especially they have so many of those board events, ranging from Bowser time events, or in this case Bowser minigames down the line, and occasional DK minigames every once in a while, but thankfully some of those minigames lasted quite quick. So yeah, that was it for Mario Party 7, and next up, in terms of the forms of the Mario Party retrospective of Let's Plays, up next it will be Mario Party 8 for the Nintendo Wii. And before that, we'll hit on to Mario Party Superstars as soon as we finish up with Mario Party 8. So this is me, Ray the Flying Squirrel, from the Maxi Toys, and until then, see you guys at some point soon. Bye!